Okay, we are live and we will start the discussion. And first of all, belated Happy World Environment Day. Um, a lot of celebrations did happen, and especially in our city, Delhi. New Delhi is supposed to be the capital of India right now, at least in the offline world as we speak. I'll start off in a while and I'll be talking about industrial design. And this is something I discussed about, maybe 7 years back, and we are back to this. So, this is basically device iPhone 5. I need to charge it. It's on a VI number, which is postpaid. So, even before more people log in, I'll share some. I'll share. I'll, I'll share some results, and let me see. So probably folks can always look into the aspect of intellectual property right, and I'm going back to the year 2007. So basically this database is one of the so the priority of this application is 2005, and if you read the priority data, take it as a pause uh, for next 10 hours, and I'll walk you through the understanding of intellectual property rights in a real sense, not the way most of the folks are speaking about intellectual property rights. Intellectual property rights, it's much more prime, and yes, I entered at that point of time. So we are still waiting for more folks to propel in, and I will be taking you through the okay. It's, so India was very different for intellectual property rights in the year. Okay, so it's showing. So intellectual property rights was very different at that point of time. Okay, so we have some kind of data with us right now, right with us right now. Hmm. Okay, good. So I'll walk you through the data set. I'm just looking into it, and I'm sharing the live stream on X. X is basically the rebranding of Twitter. So let's post it. And most of the folks have been. What happened? Okay. So most of the folks have. Okay. So working with the best, which includes Interpol, has its own perks in a different fashion. So let's see. I will deep dive into this, and let's look into the URL performance. So we'll be starting with what is the importance of intellectual property rights per se. So probably anyone who would be having a look at the video at any given point of time in their life would get the data set to work upon the POS for today. Okay, let's start with the Indian patent agents. I think they are the most intellectual human beings on the planet right now, and especially taking the data set that the initiatives and I've been seeing a lot of Indian pattern agents. They are promoting their kids, stating that they are the next, um, maybe the XYZ of whatever, whatever. But the point of contention here is innovation per se is the biggest gas in terms of um, understanding intellectual property rights. Because if you go back to the EPO, that is the European Patent Office database, and if you look into the applications of blockchain and stuff for the longest time, you can go back and retrieve the data set of the patents which were filed in the 16th, 17th century also. That being said, what is important here is to look into the understanding of whether we really need intellectual property rights. Because in the best of the capability right now, there is a whole movement of, killing Starbucks, and particularly in India, because India is a big population. Let's take the Indian population and the Chinese population, 1 billion. Let's be realistic and just take 1 billion here, 1 billion there, and it's like 2 billion. But the advantage, if you do the SWOT analysis at any given point of time, um, land is more with China. And at least on the map it is. And I have no clue what the folks are doing in the verses, because different verses, or I would rather say the canvas of the WWW is the biggest one. And the fabrication of that canvas is being divided in so many verses that at any given point of time, it's not that 10 verses are working or 100 verses are working or infinite verses are working, because any node who is online for any amount of time right now, like I'm logged in onto this canvas of www dot, and utilizing one of the applications which is called whatever they call wish to call it, and through which there's a live streaming happening. And through this live streaming, the virtual part of me is being, I would say, is being created, and this creation is being utilized. Because if you go through the terms and conditions of YouTube also, at any given point of time they can utilize this data set to train their own data set. So it's up to you in terms of the understanding of whether or not you wish to be online. Because when we, or anybody who has cognizance of net neutrality, and I don't know how many folks ever were on Orkut, or time space and whatnot in the 90s. um, all these engines and all the data set was so poor in terms of um, whatever you were, like, uh, I mean, whatever input you were providing, the output was always wrong, because computation was not up to the mark. But today, on the timeline of 2025, and with the VC's goal, VC's is basically the workshop or the working group of ITU. ITU is International Telecommunication Union. So we have crossed 8 minutes in terms of the live video, and let's talk about the brands. Now, we start with Starbucks, because for the longest time, Starbucks is not a luxury. Starbucks is basically providing employment to global enterprises in terms of whether it's China, whether it's Bangladesh, whether it's Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how Trump is going to take care of this, because if he doesn't allow these countries to have a relationship, so I'm very sure Starbucks will leave US and be in other parts of the world. Okay, so this product is imported, and so this is imported through the Delhi airport, and it is manufactured by Sweet Life Ltd, Jingbin, China, and marketed by Tata Starbucks Private Limited, which is based out in Mumbai. So basically, if we just talk about this aspect also, um, China is manufacturing it. Second is marketing is done from another state. Um, the the custom is taken care in another state, and it's a concerted effort, so you can understand the employment is of another level altogether. However, this is an admixture of sorbitol, xylitol, sucralose, acesulfame K, not recommended for children. Okay, it says not recommended for children. Pregnant or lactating women may have laxative effect, cause bloating and diarrhea in children, reduce calcium absorption in post-menopausal women. Okay, so basically, it contains added flavors, natural and artificial flavoring substances, peach, jasmine, and mint flavor. But they are not mentioning the exact value in terms of what is the so okay, so the labeling has to be redone for this, because according to the labeling requirement, we need to know what is the ingredient in terms of jasmine. Is it natural, or it is manufactured in some other format? So there's a lot of discussion about the pharmaceutical sector in India. The good thing about the pharma and the other sectors in India is, we like it or not, India is dependent for the raw materials from China. When we talk about the APIs, that is the active pharmaceutical ingredients, that is purchased in bulk from China. And we like it or not, it is next to impossible to give that costing uh, and manufacturing it in India. So this message which is being uh, given on the news channels and everyone, I would rather urge the independent authorities who are not being governed by any of the political parties to talk about the real aspect of intellectual property rights. That is very, very important. Another aspect is understanding that we have to work with our neighbors. We can't say that, we are not helping out our neighbors. So this is one Starbucks stuff. Another one is this. This is a sleeve. It's a laptop sleeve. So this also is manufactured in China, and it comes to India. And then this one is one of my favorite one. We had a discussion about this. So this is basically iPhone 5, and honestly speaking, maybe is on a different application altogether, but I still love iPhone 5 in terms of its in the working conditions, just that I haven't charged it. And why Apple launches new phones, and thing is, it is trying to gauge the attention of the consumer and stating that you need a new device. Honestly speaking, it's not the case whatsoever, because most of the folks even don't know how to use an iOS as a platform. So generally, there's Symbian, iOS, blah blah blah. The one which we are manufacturing right now is on Impala network, and that is something where you don't need data. I mean, perhaps all the laws and regulations are not applicable on it. And the good thing is, it is not applicable or available for common people. It is for very selective individuals globally, and individuals who are the main stakeholders and the operators of the world, so that they are able to use this technology, because this is a very lethal and a potent technology. Implant network is not for common people. Neither it is for any of the blockchainers, neither it's for any of the governments. It is basically a technology whereby the stakeholders who cannot purchase this technology, because the royalty and everything would be toppled to a next level, and we cannot rush into this thing of licensing this kind of technology to anyone and everyone. So that is very, very important. Total understanding of intellectual property rights is really low in India, and it's very evident from the post of so many patent agents in India creating nuisance. I think it's more of a nuisance rather than the patenting part, trying to promote the kids, 5-year-old kid developing something. That those are not innovations. Rather than you should discourage your kids to think that they're innovators and behave that they are innovating something. You can always say that you're solving a problem. It's not that it is innovation. Innovation is much, much, I mean, I used to think that because I have been working with this company, the one which is mentioned here, for the longest time, and the kind of innovations we did at that point of time, I mean, can you imagine, there is an innovation which is an ionic bed. I mean, those ions take the negative toxicity from your body and ground it to the earth. So those were the innovations I started working on. And today, oh my God, people are just scratching the surface in terms of what intellectual property right is all about. So that is the reason intellectual property right 1970 has to be abolished. The Trademark Act has to be abolished. There's no question asked. If somebody really needs to file intellectual property rights, please file it with the WIPO, that is World Intellectual Property Organization, and enter India under national phase. That's the only way forward. As far as trademark is also concerned, you need to file through the Madrid protocols because India is a member state of the Madrid protocols. So you file it through Madrid at the IB. IB is the International Bureau. So IB and most of the important, I would say, the international stuff is located in Geneva, then Singapore. Interpol is headquartered in Singapore. And because I'm a cert is a person who is looking into the cybersecurity in the online world, and we have not only XYZ AIs working for us. It's a very big, I would say, the biggest of the big in the understanding of what intellectual property rights is. Although the year's agenda of this year is copyright, but I was so surprised. I'll still say a part of me is under the shock stage where Justice Khastegir. I mean, come on, she's the first Calcutta High Court judge, and the books people are reading and the judgments in terms of, if I understand intellectual property rights the way it has to be understood. I mean, anywhere her name or the book name is coming, the royalty has to be given to the children, and there are two children. Suniti Khastegir and the other person is a medical doctor based out in United Kingdom. So there's two siblings. So that is something I would be taking the case before the Kolkata High Court. That is something pending. And next is, let's talk about um, what is this? This is another stuff in terms of product of India. So yes, this one is good in terms of made in India. So there's a lot of stuff. Okay, I think you're able to see it. So there's a lot of stuff in India which is made in India, product of India, made in Bharat, whatever it is. The good thing is, even in the worst of these situations, India is so diverse. Even if we just do the barter system among ourselves in terms of the states, I think India would survive. And India is one country which is very diplomatic in nature, which is a very good thing. We are not like Nazis or Hitler. Um, Although I'm not demeaning Nazis and Hitler, because many times you have to take those tough decision, and especially laying off people, which I do on and off. I mean, every third day I'm laying off my team members because if they're not able to upscale, they are not able to work with us, and if they're not able to work with us, they're not able to um, get us the real data set, because we need those data sets to work upon so that we are able to solve the biggest problem of the menace of the internet, because internet cannot be misused. So I talked about these two brands, and then definitely this one is so close to my heart. It's Istanbul. And so though people only know about both, there's something called as Princess Island, and it's a beautiful place. I mean, you have these horses, the carriages. Did I see pumpkins? Maybe yes. I did see the pumpkins and all. And that data set is not online because purposefully, although I have a lot of data with me, I don't put it online, because I put it online when I think it is required for the POS. And I'm pretty sure with the POS of today, it will be more than enough for the folks to understand. And next, and my favorite is Ravenclaw. Okay, this is my house. Perhaps I was there at the castle 2 years back, the Harry Potter stuff, and um growing up, and when I just I was intrigued to be part of the whole Harry Potter circle, so I'm happy to be part of it. Next, very important is when you recycle these stuff, you're able to build these kind of stuff. So these are built with recycled stuff, recycled sari, recycle this. So India is able to recycle this. So this is a very good thing. Now the question mark and the point of context is very simple. We have to make Delhi as the control for the recycling. If we are able to do that, today is supposed to be 6th of June 2025. What if we give maybe 30 days, 60 days, 90 days just to see the impact? And with the assistance of the government and the electricity board and the BSES and everything. um, the government has to come up with few of these incentives in terms of recycling the waste. We have to recycle the waste at the source. We cannot be dependent on these gig workers who don't even have the acknowledgement of separating the kachra. That is the garbage. It's not garbage in and garbage out. Garbage will always remain garbage, because even the best of the educated people, they don't want to do it. That being said, that is one aspect. And then, yeah, so this is something I did during the lockdown. So I bought something, and the length was too much. I cut the length, and then I am good in knitting and all and stuff. So this is my way of doing stuff. So this is done. Anything else I want to discuss? I will be discussing this. Yes. So this is pure TM Natural Vibes. Now it is enriched with vitamin E oil. Okay. Now the stuff here is it is manufactured again RB Tech TM. I'm not very sure. TM you can only utilize till the time the trademark is not granted. Not the trademark is not registered or granted, whatever the nomenclature is. But once it is registered, you are not supposed to use the word TM because that is against the laws. And yeah, so I'll be checking on that whether it is okay. It was manufactured now. Okay, the MRP of this is MRP stands for maximum retail price, including all the taxes. This is 70. Batch number is PRD211233. Manufacturing date is somewhere in 2021 December, and it's MGC blah blah blah. Save water for later TM. Wet wipes use is better. Best before 24 months from packaging. OSS wipes have been specially treated with aroma. It's FDA approved. So I'll be going into detail of this particular stuff. I was reading something for a moment. I read, something as chocolate. I was like, why this written chocolate? Okay, so it's made in India. I'm just showing how the labeling should be done. I won't say the labeling is 100%, but I would consider this labeling as at least 40 to 50%. Labeling can always be improved because labeling is always work in progress. Thank you for watching out the video. I'll be trying to train this data for the AI bots, the chat bots. There are multiple chat bots, some with my face, some with some other faces and stuff. And yeah, if you have any questions, you can put your questions in the comment box below. Thank you for watching out the video. Have a great day.